Hello, everybody. My name is Ewa Chomicka, and I'm manager of the Museum Practices Lab at the POLIN Museum of the History of Polish Jews in Warsaw, Poland. So probably, as you can see, I'm as well not a specialist in environmental issues, but I'm a person that is very interested in museum trends, in museums development, in politics of care, and in ethics, and last but not least, museum activism. I'm working at the POLIN Museum, but I had a great opportunity. Oh, I think we missed one. We missed one slide, unfortunately. Well, okay, I will tell about it. I had great opportunity to work with the Climate Collective in Poland, which is made by interdisciplinary group of activists, artists, museum employees, and our task was to prepare kind of manifesto for museums. We called it Museums for Climate Manifesto, which was announced during last We Are Museums conference in Katowice, Poland. There is one slide that is missed. What was there? There was a picture from one of our last projects, which Museum of the History of Polish Jews in cooperation with Biennale Warszawa, proposed in the framework of the huge program which was called Let's Organize Our Future. And we invited people willing to attend this kind of invitation, this kind of open invitation, and invited volunteers from Warsaw to create polyphonic manifesto for future, and we called it Taking the Stage. What was interesting, that one of the scenes in this performance, because it was manifesto concert performance at the same time, it took like 1 hour, but of course there were many preparations, many rehearsals, and what was interesting, that there was one scene when people were trying at the very beginning to whisper their demand for the future, after that to make it louder and louder, and after that to divide into 2 groups and to scream their demands to the future. And why I'm mentioning it? Because it was very interesting that it was completely spontaneous situation. So we didn't know each time what kind of demand will appear. But what was interesting, that the most often demand for the future was demand for fresh air, for awareness, for climate change, and it was like very, very strong situation for me, because it was completely spontaneous, and it was like a voice of the people. Taking the Stage, that was the title of the project, and Taking the Stage is my, I would say, statement for museums as well. Here you can see a picture which I would like to comment a bit, because usually when we speak about climate change and climate challenges for museums, I think there is quite a dangerous path that sometimes we take when we speak about action, when we speak about practice. Very often we perceive our climate challenges, our climate action plan as an operation plan. So recycling, technical plan, I would say. Recycling, I don't know, switching off the light or changing the bulbs or whatever. It is very important. It is very important, absolutely. Oh gosh, 1 minute. But what I would like to say is that it will never succeed if we do not think about the environment or the nature as a subject of our work, not an object, and that we need to not only to talk about, but to talk with, and to really to listen to our local ecosystem. What I'm trying to propose for people who are willing to face this topic and to try to implement it in the organizational bodies in their museums, inside of their museums, is to start the revolution from yourself and to try to change your personal habits, then to try to change habits inside of your museum, and afterwards to start to cooperate and to develop habits, practices of the local community. So step by step. In this way we can create a network of support and a network of a real power. But the question that I wanted to raise at the end is how we can make, how we can create some systemic, let's say, systemic support for individuals who work in, for example, in big institutions, in big museums, or even in small museums, and they do will, you know, to deal with the topic of climate changes. But since institutions have, for example, some other priorities, and do not feel like that this is a question that they need to deal with, how can we create kind of support, and how can we make them strength? Thank you.